Welcome back, guys, to the Storytelling Podcast, your cozy corner of captivating tales. I'm your host, Alejandra, and tonight we're leaving behind the quiet stillness of the night and stepping into the bustling yet deeply haunted streets of Birmingham in the UK. This city of a thousand trades, and my city, has a history as rich and dark as any in the world. And beneath its industrial heart lies a world of restless spirits. So get comfortable and join me in this haunted tour around Birmingham. Our first story takes us to the magnificent Aston Hall, a grand Jacobean mansion built in the 17th century by a man named Sir Thomas Holt. By all accounts, Sir Thomas was a cruel and powerful man, and his brutal nature seemed to have left a permanent stain on the very walls of his home. The Hall is said to be one of the most haunted buildings in the UK, home to a number of restless spirits. The most famous of these is the Grey Lady, the ghost of Sir Thomas' daughter, Mary Holt. The story goes that Mary fell in love with a man her father deemed unsuitable. In a fit of rage, Sir Thomas locked her away in her room for 16 years, a prisoner in her own home. She went mad in her confinement, and when she finally died, her spirit was too tormented to leave. Visitors and staff had reported seeing a shimmering grey figure gliding through the upper floors of the house. A pale woman forever searching for a love she was denied. But Mary isn't the only one trapped in a hall. There's also the ghost of a servant boy named Dick, who was accused of stealing and, in despair, hanged himself in the servants' quarters. His attic room, known as Dick Garret, is said to be one of the most active spots in the house. People have felt a sudden chilling drop in temperature or the eerie sensation of being watched in the shadows. And then there's the Green Lady, believed to be a former housekeeper who appears when the hall is undergoing renovations, perhaps to check on her old domain. Aston Hall is a place where history isn't just told, it's very much alive in the mournful cries and silent walks of its former residents. Now we move to a place where history is as palpable as the pint in your hand, the Old Crown pub. I actually used to live like 5 minutes from the Old Crown, and I do love a good pint in the garden. So actually trying to find more places from Birmingham to make this episode, it was obviously I had to talk about the Old Crown, one of the oldest pubs in the UK. But let me tell you, this pub is in the Digbeth area, and it's one of the oldest secular buildings in Birmingham, with a history that stretched back to 1368. And it has seen everything: the English Civil War, the Victorian industrial boom, and the centuries of late night drinkers. And some of its former inhabitants, it seems, never left. If you find it online, many of the TV shows from the UK and not, and from abroad, they actually went to the Old Crown. So take a look at this. The most famous resident is a ghost of a murdered landlady. Legend has it that she was killed during the English Civil War, a conflict that saw fierce skirmishes around the pub. Her spirit is said to wander the pub, a woman in old-fashioned clothing who often vanishes into thin air. Many people have reported seeing her appear and disappear in the courtyard, near an old bricked-up well that is believed to be a hotspot for paranormal activity. The Old Crown is also home for more playful and mischievous spirits, and bartenders have reported poltergeist activity, with bottles jumping off shelves and landing on the floor with no one around. There are actually videos of this. There are also stories of an invisible presence that likes to tap people on the shoulder or, a bit more cheekily, pinch the bottoms of female staff and patrons. It's a pub where the past isn't just a memory, it's a permanent fixture always ready to raise a glass or play a little prank. If you are in Birmingham or if you're going to visit Birmingham, please take a look and go to the Old Crown. It's really unmissable. And we couldn't make a tour in Birmingham without talking about their canals. So, Birmingham has more miles of canals than Venice. Can you imagine? And while today they are beautiful, peaceful towpaths, their history is far darker. The canals were the industrial arteries of the city, a place of hard labor, tragic accidents, and desperation. It's here, on the dark, misty towpath, that some of the city's most chilling ghost stories are found. The canals are said to be haunted by the souls of those who met their ends in the murky waters. Stories about drowned workers, bargees who fell in during night shift, and countless others who succumbed into the unforgiving depths. People walking the canals late at night, I do not advise, have reported hearing the sounds of a ghostly splash, followed by a faint, desperate cries for help, and even when the water is perfectly still and empty. Other tales tell a spectral figure seen walking around the towpath, carrying an old-fashioned lantern. It's believed to be the ghost of a former canal worker, perhaps a lockkeeper, still carrying out his nightly rounds. But when you look closer, the figure has no face, and the lantern gives off no heat. The canals are a vast, watery graveyard, and the spirits that haunt them are a stark reminder of the city's brutal industrial past. Birmingham is not only multicultural, it's also multi-diverse in arts and the culture itself. The magic of the theater often comes from the illusion of life and death, but at Birmingham's New Alexandra Theatre, that line is a little blurred. The theatre, originally named the Theatre Royal, has been a cultural hub since 1901, and like many old theatres, it has its own resident ghosts who refuse to leave the stage. The most well-known apparition is the phantom known as the Grey Lady. She is said to be the ghost of a former actress who died tragically, perhaps in a fire or by suicide, and now she haunts the back of the house, often seen by staff and actors late at night. Her appearances are typically benign, a silent figure standing in the wings or walking along a desert corridor. But her presence is also accompanied by a sudden, inexplicable chill in the air. Staff at the theater have also reported other strange occurrences. The sound of phantom footsteps in the empty auditorium, doors that slam shut on their own, and unexplained power outage that seem to happen at random. Actors preparing for a show have reported hearing their names being whispered from the darkness, a spectral voice offering a chilling kind of pre-performance jitters. The ghosts of the New Alexander Theatre are a permanent part of the cast, and every night when the curtain falls, they take to the stage for their own and silent performance. This next place on this tour is a place where I have been dozens of times. It is a place of illness, tragedy, but a hub of spiritual activity. I am not going to deny to you, I didn't know its history when I was there, but it actually creeped me out. This is the story about the Dudley Road Hospital, now is known and called as City Hospital, and has a long and storied history that stretches back to the Victorian era. It was a place of last resort for the sick and the dying, a place where countless souls passed from this world to the next, and some, it seems, never made it all the way. Also, a part it was an asylum. Staff who has worked in this hospital has reported strange phenomena for decades. There are whispers of a ghost known as the Grey Nurse. It's always grey, right? a benevolent spirit said to wander the old wards, checking on patients and offering a silent comfort. But there are darker tales too. In the oldest parts of the hospital, the sound of phantom trolleys and disembodied ghost steps have been heard late at night, and the chilling sound of a child crying from an empty room has been reported. This hospital holds the echoes of generations of pain and loss, a place where the sick and the dying are said to still wander the halls, forever searching the final peace. Our next stop is a place where the dead has been laid to rest for centuries. It's Worston Lane Cemetery. This cemetery is a unique and haunting place, known for its incredible catacombs that were built into the hillside. It is here, in this beautiful and somber place, that some of Birmingham's most famous ghosts are said to reside. The catacombs themselves are a maze of stone corridors, and visitors have reported an overwhelming feeling of dread and unease when walking through them. The most famous ghost in the cemetery is a figure known as the Lady in White. She is said to appear on misty nights, a pale figure walking silently among the gravestones, her face obscured by a shadow. She is often seen by people walking past late at night, a sorrowful figure who vanishes before you can get a closer look. The cemetery is also said to be the home to a number of other spirits, disembodied whispers, to the sound of children laughing near old, unmarked graves. Now we turn to a location where I've been several times and I love it and I miss it so much, that has a different kind of history, a place made famous by its connection to J.R.R. Tolkien. J.R.R. Tolkien lived nearby with his brother, and we are talking about, of course, Sarehole Mill, the place where inspired the Shire from The Lord of the Rings. And if you know the White Ogre tale, well, let's just say that the miller from Sarehole Mill was the person that actually inspired to be the White Ogre in J.R.R. Tolkien's. But Sarehole Mill is an old water mill that has stood for centuries. And of course, in here is where young Tolkien spent his childhood, drawing inspiration for his literary works. And you can actually visit it, and there is actually one of the Shire's doors that you can enter in here. But Tolkien wasn't the only one who felt a powerful presence here. The mill is said to be haunted by the ghost of the former miller's wife, who lived and died there. Staff and visitors have reported seeing a spectral figure of a woman in an old-fashioned dress in the upper floors of the mill near the grinding stones. Her presence is often accompanied by a sudden, inexplicable feeling of sadness or a bone-chilling cold spot. Actually, there is a lot of places that I felt cold spots in there, now that I'm thinking. Her spirit is believed to be tied to the mill, forever reliving the life she spent within its stone walls. And our final stop takes us to a place that houses the city's history, the Birmingham Museum and Art Gallery. And I used to work there. While the museum is full of priceless artifacts, some believe it also holds a permanent collection of ghosts. One of the most famous apparitions is known as the Top Hat Ghost. He is said to be the spirit of a former curator, often seen in the gallery's older sections, a silent figure in a top hat and a long coat who disappears when approached. The museum is also said to have more ancient and more terrifying presence. Visitors and security guards have reported the chilling presence and almost being watched near the museum's famous Egyptian collection. It is here, among the sarcophagi and ancient artifacts, that a phantom whisper is sometimes heard, a sound that seems to come from nowhere. The museum is a place that holds fragments of countless lives and stories, and it seems that some of them refuse to stay in the past. And I'm going to intervene here, and just to let you know that if you do know the Birmingham Museum and Art Gallery, what you see, what you visit, you have actually 3 to 4 floors below surface filled with the oldest books and with a lot of, there is of course the curators and the archaeologists working there, that has so many artifacts in those vaults. I went there because I was working there, but it actually leaves you a sense of unease. And sometimes there were late nights that I worked there and I felt so unease that I just wanted to be nearby someone and just grab my card and just, pick it up. Even on the staff restrooms, they are still the oldest, bathroom stalls, and even the walls are preserved for, all the tiles are preserved from the first tiles that he had, and they are beautiful actually. I know I'm talking about a toilet, but it's actually beautiful because they are preserving that. And I'm going to tell you that it was creepy sometimes to go there. So yeah, it was like enter, do your business, and get out. And as any museum, because it contains so many history and pieces and artifacts, that it will eventually bring something with it. So I'm just telling you, go to the Birmingham Museum and Art Gallery because it's priceless and you're going to love it. This is it, guys. This was today's episode. I hope you like this little haunted tour. I'm going to create more haunted tours around the globe. So if you like your city or any city that you would like to see it, comment below and share your thoughts. It's always nice to hear from you guys, and I promise that I have more episodes ready for you here weekly at the Storytelling Podcast. Thank you for listening, and please remember that if you like to send your stories or special topics, please send it to thestorytellingpodcast8080@gmail.com or follow me on social media at The Storytelling Podcast Official. Before you go, if you haven't done that already, I would love for you to follow or click the subscribe button, and see you on the next episode.